Hi all, welcome back to my channel. I appreciate everybody that watches and likes, subscribes to my channel. This week has been a trying week for me, to say the least. Me living in my vehicle has been put on pause for right now. I'm a little disappointed right now still, but on Tuesday I was going to pick up my grandkids from summer camp in the afternoon, and it was downpouring. I mean, it's probably been downpouring for about an hour. Anyway, so you would think most people would take their time and use caution, but these Memphians don't know how to drive, I'm telling you. Anyways, I was driving, and this car pulled out in front of me coming out of Kroger's grocery store. And I'm talking feet in front of me. So, of course, I put on the brakes, and the road was so slippery, I ended up hitting the back passenger door. I mean, the back driver's door. And hit pretty hard. My airbags ended up going off, horn going off, and I went into panic mode. I've been into some accidents over the years of driving, none of which were my fault, and neither was this one. She already got cited. It was her fault. But I never had my airbags go off. I did not realize that it's basically gunpowder that is in your airbags. So all that smoke comes out and that smell. And I immediately got overwhelmed, started freaking out. Somehow, I tried to put down my electric windows and open my door. Nothing. The windows wouldn't go down and my doors wouldn't unlock for me to open it up. Panicking. So I managed to wiggle out of my seatbelt and start kicking my windows and banging on my windows, yelling help. Still nothing. I happened to look over at my passenger window, which I don't want to say it's broken. It goes up and down, but it doesn't go up and down with the other ones. Some electrical issues there or whatever. But I noticed my window was down about this much, just enough like to stick my fingers in there. So I went over to that side, stuck my fingers in there and tried to push down the window, and it went down, very little. So I putting my mouth up against the window, up against the opening of the window to get some breath. Because now the car's starting to fill with that smoke and that smell. And I am yelling, help, help. I am stuck in my car. All these cars just driving by. The lady, also her airbags, I believe went off. She's still right in front of me. We're both in the middle of the road. So this guy that was at Kroger's heard me. So he come running over, helped me push down my window. Now we're both pushing down my window. And then he drags me out of my car. At this point, the lady is still in front of my car. So once he got me to safety across the street to Kroger's into the parking lot, he went over to that car. And, I don't really know what went on in that area. I was too busy panicking over here, breaking out. I had to call my daughter to tell her to go pick up the grandkids because I had gotten into a car accident. And then I had to call 911. But after all that, when I looked, her car, I guess she had got started again, drove to the other side of the street. My car was still in the street, horn going off, smoke filling the car. So the cops show up. And he comes over to me asking if I can move my car out of the street. So I told him what happened, and my car didn't turn on and stuff like that. But he said, try now. So I went, somebody went over and turned off my horn, and I don't know what else. So now my driver's side let me in and let me open the door. So I got in, turned on the car. Sorry. And drove my car off to the side. I still have bad anxiety from this. Just give me a moment, please. I thought for sure I was going to die in the midst of that smoke because nobody was stopping, and it seemed like it took forever just for the police to show up. Never mind the fire truck, which it felt like it was another 5-10 minutes after I was out of the vehicle. So anyways, they get there and stuff and ask if I want to go to the hospital, and I say no because my adrenaline is so bad, and I just needing my daughter to get here so I can get everything out of my vehicle and get into her vehicle, because now they're towing my vehicle because it is totaled. Once your airbags go off and stuff, and my front fender and all that got torn off, it's totaled. So, and I couldn't even think right at that moment. I never seen what the lady looked like. She never got out of the vehicle. But I asked the officer, is she a man, a woman? And he said she was a Hispanic woman. And he did tell me he cited her for the accident after, talking and looking at the cars and stuff. And she had insurance. So I'm just waiting right now on the accident report. I called yesterday, still wasn't there. She said call back Monday. So as soon as I get the accident report, I will be calling her and her insurance, her car insurance. It was downpouring. I was soaking wet. I was trying to get everything like packed up in my car and stuff like that, my suitcase zipped up. I couldn't do any of that. I was in such frantic mode, and I couldn't think straight. I could not think straight. I couldn't zip up my suitcase. I was trying to get everything together, and just everything was a big old fog. Big old fog. I just knew I was hurting. I knew I was hurting, but I told, once the fire truck got there, guys came to me, a couple guys went to her. She never went either. I never seen her come out of her car, like I said. So, but I told him I didn't want to go at the moment. I had to get my stuff out of the car, stuff like that. But I did end up going that night. I ended up my daughter got there and all that, and I waited as long as I could for the tow truck because I was trying to get some information about where they're towing the car and stuff. Um, but I ended up leaving. I told the officer I was leaving, and he said it would be in the police report where they're towing my car to. So around, she had picked up the kids and stuff. So we ended up going back to her house. I had probably time we got back to her house. It was probably around 4:30, 5 o'clock, something like that. I told her to feed the kids and stuff like that. Then please take me to the hospital because my neck and my back and my sides and my legs, I was pretty banged up, was really kicking in. And once I got in my daughter's car, I was freaking out a little because I didn't want to be in a vehicle right now, but obviously I got to get home. Well, to her home. I somewhat calmed down a little because I knew I was safe. At least I'm like, okay, I'm alive. I'm banged up, but I'm alive. So my adrenaline, started coming down a little bit as I came into focus. Once that happened, my pain started setting in. So my daughter brought me to the hospital around 8 o'clock. That was an adventure all on its own. The hospital room didn't look packed. When I went in, I thought, oh, okay, only around 8 people here, whatever. It should go by pretty smoothly. Not knowing, I got, registered in and stuff like that. I sat down and all that. I was there almost 6 hours. I didn't realize for the first probably 2.5 that there were no rooms back there, no beds available. They were all back there. So I was not happy. I knew it was going to be a long night, a long, painful night, because I was, everything was running through my head. Literally, just everything, the backlash, the back, the memory of just everything was just running through my head, of how it all played out. And oh my God, not again. Because not only did my car get totaled, my home got totaled. Because if nobody watched my last video, as of Monday, on the 1st, well, really on the 30th, June 30th is when my lease was up and we had to be out. I had been in my car, fixing my car up. So it's livable for me. So not only was that my transportation, that was my home. That was going to be my home. So I could not believe within a week my home was gone. Not only did I leave my physical home, but now my home on wheels is gone. From one person not paying attention to what they're doing and understanding that it's really wet out here. People are going slower as it is. So in the emergency room, I'm just like I said, playing all this stuff in my head, wondering why on earth this happened. Um, anyways, so I got there. I got some X-rays done, and so I had a sprain on my right ankle, contusions on my right foot. I have bruising and contusions on my left leg, tibia, I believe it is. And then I noticed, okay, I know it's going to sound bad, but like I said, I was all shook up. So time I got out of there, that's pretty much all they looked at was that leg and my neck, of course. I got x-rays on my neck and my collarbone, my side, my right side, and my back. And it shows not that anything was broken, but there were muscle spasms and stuff. So yes, acute muscle spasms in my neck and my back, which still hurt. Not as bad. They were at like 9, 10 when I came in. They're probably at around 6 or 7 right now. Um, but I got some medicine for that and everything, and so I went home. The next morning, woke up and I went to the bathroom. Pulled out. I had not changed my pants. I'm not gonna lie. I have. It's a little better now, but the next day, still in shock and a little bit of depression sitting in. Like, what am I gonna do? So time I got home, it was already Wednesday morning, around 1:30 in the morning. So I just went in, already on meds, went to sleep. Woke up the next morning, I don't know, maybe around 8 o'clock or so. And I pulled down my pants to go to the bathroom. I noticed this huge bruise, this dark purple bruise on my right thigh. I'm like, oh, okay, didn't notice that. So, asked my daughter to take me back to the hospital. So, she had been sleeping for a minute because she works nights. As soon as she got up, I asked her to take me back to the hospital for this bruise. Because I was not sure if I was bruising internally underneath that or not. Because I have a circular problem with my legs. I had surgery on both my legs twice. So they had some veins taken out and smaller veins rerouted and stuff. So my legs do not perform like a lot of other people as it is. So I'm thinking, oh my God, this has something to do with my veins, the eruption or whatever. So back in I went for another almost 7 hours this time, between the waiting and all that. Had another x-ray done, and they said it was just bruising. Thank goodness it was not any deeper than that. But of course, it was a very, very harsh bruising. So they made sure they put that on the report. And while I'm sitting there, I noticed the bruising on my stomach. So I told them about that, and she checked it out and stuff and said, same thing. It was not, bleeding on the inside. It was just a bruise, which was good. Okay, so they gave me, some different meds or whatever. Gave me some other meds while I was there, so made me druggy and stuff. So once again, my daughter picks me up and stuff. I go home. So this is Wednesday. So Thursday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, not Thursday. I'm like, okay, yeah, Barbara, gotta get out of these clothes. Gotta get out of this little depression. And I know you're in pain. You gotta go take a shower. You gotta work Friday morning. So Thursday night around 10 o'clock, I go take a nice shower and everything. Take off my clothes. And what do I see? Another huge, dark, purple bruise on my right breast. Went into panic mode again. My daughter's working and stuff. So I tell her in the morning when I see her, when she's getting up to get the kids ready for our summer camp, asking her if she can please take me back to the hospital. I did not see this bruise. She's like, Mom, why didn't you check your whole body? I'm like, I've been in some deep depression, okay? Between thinking I was going to die in that vehicle and somebody pulling me out from, not only did they take my transportation, they took my home. Where am I going to live? Obviously I can stay with my daughter, but that's not my home, right? 90% of my stuff is in storage. Another 5% was in her home, like I mentioned in the last video, with the pictures and the books and stuff, so they wouldn't get ruined. So I basically just had my everyday stuff, clothes and stuff that I use every day in my vehicle. I don't even got that now. So she's like, okay, I understand and stuff. Anyways, takes me back to the hospital first thing in the morning. Thank goodness there was nobody there. Well, there was a couple people there. In and out in about an hour and a half to 2 hours, which was great. But yeah, they checked that, and they said it was another just deep bruising, and it wasn't no veins or anything busted from the inside. It wasn't bleeding internally. I made sure I took pictures of everything, the bruises of all over me, and my swollen ankle and stuff. And so I had to call out of work Friday just so I could do that. This is our Saturday now. I go back to work tomorrow. I told my boss and stuff. I hope the universe has got some blessings planned for me out of all this, because I was just starting to live in my vehicle. I mean, I had everything all set up to where everything's reachable. I don't have to dig for everything, and everything's accessible. You know what I mean? It was going to make it a lot easier to live in my vehicle. And I was ready to make a video on Thursday about it, so I can post it, showing you, what my car looked like on the inside and stuff. I was really proud of myself. And then Tuesday hit. Um, yeah, I don't ants. I'm on this lovely grass, sitting on this hill, trying to get some grounding done. Um, Joke was on me again. Um, it's I have no transportation to get around. I'm a very strong, independent person. I have never. I'm. I am used to taking care of people. I am not used to asking for help. I mean, I am really down right now. Um, I don't know when it is when I'm going to be able to get another vehicle, but when I do, it's going to be my van. You know, all kinds of things went through my head though. Is the universe telling me, hey, I shouldn't be traveling by myself. I shouldn't be living the nomad life, you know? Or was it saying, Barbara, I know it's going to be real uncomfortable in this car because of your leg situation, you know, and you need your legs propped all the way up, even with your body, if not higher, or they'll swell up and stuff. You know, let's get you a van real quick. I don't know which way it's going. I really don't. I will have to see how all this plays out. Um, just keep your prayers with me and hope that my blessings do come true. Um, it has been hard for me right now. It's really been hard for me. Um, I I'm gonna have to. I'm either going to have to learn. Well, I'm gonna have to learn the bus system up by my daughter's house now, anyways. And I might stay in the shelter a few nights a week. Um, I don't know. I heard these Memphis shelters ain't all that great. But you know, as long as you keep to yourself and all that, I think I'll be fine. Um, just hopefully everything goes quickly. Once I get the report, the accident report on Monday, I will see from there about her insurance. Um, I'm a little hesitant on driving or even being in a vehicle. I'm not going to lie. Because I'm thinking, oh my God, what happens if this vehicle gets in an accident and the electrical, you know, the airbags go off and the electrical doesn't work. We all get stuck in here. You know, the same scenario. You know, I'm thinking could possibly happen. But in the same sense, I know I have to get over that fear. And I know maybe I shouldn't take the back roads as much because I usually drive back roads pretty much everywhere. I don't like taking the highway. But maybe the highway is safer. Maybe even just to get around the city, jumping on and off the highway would be much safer than doing all these roadways. I'm going to see if her insurance covers a rental car. I am putting it in the universe that it covers a rental car, because if that's the case, Monday or Tuesday, I am going to get a rental car. And I will proceed to continue. I'll put my stuff in that rental car or whatever until I get one. A car, van. But I figured I'll just share this with you. I am going to, I don't know how much places I'm going to be able to show you around here because I have no vehicle. But if I do get a rental, I will continue showing nice spots to be around in Memphis. Or if I can get the bus schedule and stuff, and on my days off, I can take the bus to these places and still show you around. I'll do what I can, and just gotta stay positive. I gotta get out of this funk that I am in right now, because I know every negative has a positive. So I have to look at the positive things that came out of this and that will come out of this, because I know there is. I know I'm a good person, and I'm not having no karma or nothing on me. I mean, so I have to take it for what it is. And yeah, look at my hair. I'm so low. I need to go get my hair cut this week. I was supposed to do that Wednesday, and yeah, that didn't happen either. But everybody enjoy your day, and keep me in your thoughts. Send me some healing energy. Help these bruises and stuff go away. And I should have honestly asked for a neck brace when I was at the hospital too, because my neck is very sore. And right here on the bone right here is very sore. But I didn't. My fault. I'm not going back to the hospital unless something really crazy happens. But I appreciate all of you. And I will be seeing you next week. Bye.